Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're viewing this. My name is Mike. I am the Crypto Liberal. Hey, do me a favor. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, because frankly, we nailed it again, guys. We nailed it again. So what happened today, right? Bitcoin and the rest of crypto, but mostly Bitcoin. Bitcoin got crushed. Crushed. Now, I know there's a lot of people on crypto Twitter and crypto YouTube for the past week have been telling you we're going to 35,000, we're going to 40,000, we might even be going higher than that, right? But there was one person who 2 days ago, just 2 days ago, had this to say.
I'm expecting for Bitcoin. Now, what am I expecting in the immediate short term? That red line is strong support. I do not think the worst of this bear market is over. I just don't. And so I think we're due for another dump of some sort before we get above that red line. Before we can get above this red line, right? Before we get above here, I'm expecting another dump of some sort. How low will that dump go? I have no clue. Will we go below the blue line? If I had to make a guess, I would say we're due to go below the lows of this bear market so far. You know, between 17.5 and 18.9. I think we're going to go below that. Still, I could be wrong. And that would be the second time I'm wrong in this channel. Big deal, right? Big deal, because I got a game plan of when I will enter Bitcoin again. Because frankly, I'm not in it. I have like a few sats floating around in various places, because I've entered trades into ADA, into Ethereum, and into a few other alts that we will talk about again in the future, but primarily ADA and Ethereum. And I'm killing it. We made 50% on our Ethereum trade on this channel. We documented it. 50% versus Bitcoin, right? And so we crushed it. And we're still we're like over 30% versus Bitcoin on our ADA trade. And we're still holding it because we're expecting a 3x. So if you appreciate every single time we get a victory on this channel, do me a favor, give me a like, give me a subscribe. That's all I have for you today. Let's keep track of this, because I'm still not convinced the worst of this bear market is over. I still think there's more punishment to be doled out. We'll see. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But I hope you appreciate the message. I'm in the past few days, I've seen so many on crypto Twitter and crypto YouTube. Just because we had one good day, a day we went up like 10% on Bitcoin, they're all talking about going to 35,000 again. I mean, where do they get this from? Nobody on crypto Twitter or crypto YouTube is telling you about this resistance line. It goes back 2 years. I just showed you. Why do they think it's going to break so easily? I don't know. And I'm not saying it's not going to break. It will break eventually. Eventually we'll get above that red line. Maybe it happens this week. I just don't think it's going to be that easy. And if we do break above it, wait for confirmation. Wait for it to come back down in a month or two, and you'll get in at a lower price than when we initially break it. That's my game plan.
So, what happened? 2 days later, 2 flippin' days later, Bitcoin got crushed. Just like I told you was going to happen. And the fact that I was holding, instead of Bitcoin, ADA and Ethereum, which did not go down as much as Bitcoin, validates my trade out of Bitcoin and into Ethereum and ADA. So, you know what? I need to keep getting some support. I need some motivation to keep making these videos, because frankly, everything that we talk about on this channel happens a couple days after we talk about it on this channel. So do me a favor, give me a like, give me a subscribe, share this video with your friends, because frankly, these voices, like other voices other than these mega YouTubers, need to be out there, because frankly, the mega YouTubers who have made their money on a Bitcoin, on the last cycle 4 years ago, they really don't care whether it goes up or down. They're just perma bulls, and everything is bullish, and they try to get you to go to their link, and so they can get a kickback, and that's all they're about is saying I'm bullish, and they try to tempt you to go to their link so you advance your crypto to an exchange so you can trade and leverage, and then they get a kickback even though they claim to be millionaires. Why do they need your little bit of kickback to continue their YouTube channel? I don't know. I don't get it. But frankly, there's a disconnect there, and alternative voices need to be on YouTube. So do me a favor, give me a like, give me a subscribe, because we nailed it. I told you 2 days ago we were due for another dump. Well, what happened? I told you that red line. Let's look what happened with the red line today. The red line. Look at this. We wicked up to it, basically touched it, and then just got hammered on Bitcoin, right? That red line is strong resistance. I've been telling you about that red line for flipping months at this point. I've been telling you about that red line for months. We got rejected back there when everybody was telling you we were going to 35, 40,000, right? Back here. I said, don't listen to them. Don't advance your crypto to an exchange and so they can get a kickback because we're at resistance. I told you, go back and watch those videos from August 14th and 12th and 11th, 12th, 13th. Watch those videos that I had, because I was railing on these people that were telling you we were going to 28, 30, 35, 40,000, and they were trying to get you to go to their link and advance your crypto to an exchange and trade and leverage when we were at resistance. I was hammering these people because when you're at resistance, it's not the time to go long. And they were doing the same thing here, because we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 days in a row we were green. And all of a sudden they're telling you to, hey, go long, we're going to 35,000. No, you don't do it when you're at resistance. The game plan all along that I'm playing, not financial advice. None of this is financial advice. You need to make your own decision. But the game plan that I've been playing all along is we need to get above the red line. Whoops, meant to go to the chart. Need to get above this red line, right? Up here. And we will eventually, but we need to get above it. And so watch. Say we went above it today, right? At, it's at 23,000, we'll call it even. Say we went above it today. So we go up and we hang out up here for a month or two, right? Go up here and we hang above it for a month or two. Well, but eventually my game plan is we will come back down and touch the red line. But because it's a descending red line, we'll touch it lower. Say we touched it on October 10th. Right there, it's at almost 22,000. And if it holds a support there, right, then you long and you get a better price. Do you see what I'm saying? Why listen to these people that are telling you to long at resistance? You long that red line at support. And why do I think that's going to happen? I've talked about this before in prior videos. Go back to the last time we were below this red line before this summer. It was last summer. Follow this red line back, right? Look, it was support there. Keep following this red line. It was support there. Okay, here's the last time we were below. Last summer, we were below it all summer last summer, right? Below that red line, right? Okay, we're below that red line. We came up, touched it as support or resistance here, right? We got rejected, but then we went above it. Okay, so you think, oh, wow, we're above it. We're going to go to the moon. No. We went above it on August 6th, right? Went above that red line on August 6th. So we go sideways for a while. Come back down and touch the red line, right? As support now. It's all of a sudden it's support. We even come close to it here. So it was over a month later. We went above it on August 6th. We came back down and touched it on September 21st. And when it confirmed as support for this week or so here, then we were off to 69,000. So to prove my point, right? The red line here was at, let's see, what was it at? 42,200, right? So you think, I got to go long. No. 42,200, or you could get in at support at 40,000. A better price. Not that you would have lost if you would have hung out at 42,000, as long as you weren't on a high leverage and got, liquidated when we went back and touched it as support, but you get a better return. Get it at 40,000 essentially versus 42,200, and then you go to 69,000, right? That's when you get bullish. That is my game plan. Not financial advice, but I anticipate that is exactly what's going to happen again, right? We're going to go above that red line eventually, but wait for it to come back down and hold as support. Now, what I told you 2 days ago is we were due for another dump. And I said on that clip we just watched that I wasn't sure how low we would go. We were due for another dump. The pain wasn't over. And I'm still of the opinion that the pain is not quite over. I don't think there's been enough pain inflicted in this bear market. And the macro environment with CPI numbers coming in higher than expected. Europe, who knows what the hell is going to happen in Europe this winter with energy prices and their inflation data. And in the war in Ukraine and, Russia just off its rocker, right? I still think the macro environment is signaling to us that there's more pain ahead. Now, CPI numbers higher than normal, right? The inflation a lot higher than normal, higher than expected. Again, this proves to you that this narrative that Bitcoin is an inflation hedge is BS, right? There's plenty of things in the world that are inflation hedges. I collect baseball cards. I just got a nice little Anthony Edwards basketball card a few days ago, and that's an inflation hedge, right? As long as he performs up to expectations this coming year and in the rest of his career, right? That's an inflation hedge. Jewelry is an inflation hedge. Gold watches is an inflation hedge. Fancy watches. I'm not a fancy watch guy. Whatever fancy watch there are. Good wine is an inflation hedge. This narrative that Bitcoin is the inflation hedge is bullcrap, and it's been proven this past several months. Inflation really took off after the new year this year, and ever since after the new year this year, all Bitcoin has done is dump. So Bitcoin isn't necessarily an inflation. Maybe one day it will be, but it's not right now. And the what you want to play in the crypto space is utility. Bitcoin has none. Its utility is speculation. And that's why I've moved out of Bitcoin and put it into Cardano and put it into Ethereum and a few other cryptos. We've kind of moved away from. I'm still invested in them. We'll talk about them more, but because things have been so crazy with Bitcoin and Ethereum lately, and Cardano and Ethereum are both outperforming Bitcoin, just like I've been telling you is going to happen for 19 weeks on this channel. Exactly what I said is going to happen is happening. They're both outperforming Bitcoin, right? You want to invest in utility, and that is found in Cardano. That is found in Ethereum. There's one piece of utility in Bitcoin, and that's number go up, right? And it hasn't gone up. So then it has zero utility. It's not an inflation hedge. This narrative that it's gonna cure the energy grid or whatever the statement is now. I mean, the narrative shifts. Watch Bitcoin. The narrative shifts every 6 months to a year. It's a new narrative because they can't find one. And eventually, right? Eventually, Bitcoin might prove to be an inflation hedge and a stable form of currency. That's how I play Bitcoin, right? In the end, I think it will be a stable form of not currency, because it's never going to replace the US dollar. And that's another bull crap narrative that the Bitcoin maxis have gone into and then got out of, that it's going to replace the US dollar. It's never going to replace the US dollar. It might be, a form of wealth preservation eventually. That's the way I'll state it. Not an inflation hedge, but a wealth preservation. It's a place to put your money where it will remain stable one day. That's a long time in the future. It's certainly not a stable form of wealth preservation right now, but eventually I think that's where Bitcoin is going. But utility, and I haven't talked about this for a long time. I've always said you want a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whatever floats your boat, that improves the relationship, constantly strives to make your life better, and and changes with the changing circumstances of your relationship, and constantly self-analyzes themselves and tries to improve, right? That's what Ethereum was doing with moving from proof of work to proof of stake. That's what Cardano is doing with the move to Vassal, increasing the scalability immensely. They're improving themselves. Bitcoin just lies there. It's a girlfriend who just lies there and does nothing to improve the relationship. It just sits there. Now, there's a benefit to that if you want just a stable, boring old, wealth preservation, alternative. That's what it will be eventually. But a protocol that improves, that adapts to changing circumstances, that's Cardano. That's Ethereum. And we're proving it on this channel daily, right? I've been telling you for 19 weeks, putting new money into Cardano today, dollar cost averaging into Cardano today, will outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin by the end of the year, a year from now, 5 years from now. Any new money put into Ethereum right now will outperform Bitcoin by those same time frames. And we prove it. I prove it on this channel. We prove our hypothesis. I don't just give you a prediction and ask you to, check me and actually, kind of conveniently forget about my prediction when it proves to be wrong. Like all these other crypto YouTubers who are telling you we're going to 35,000, you're never going to hear them correct themselves and say, "Hey, I was wrong," right? Because they don't prove it every day, and I prove it every day. That hypothesis. We dollar cost average into those three cryptos every week, $100 every week. We've been doing it for 19 weeks, and we track that portfolio. And how's it doing? How's it doing? Well, look at this. ADA and Ethereum are already outperforming Bitcoin, and it's not even the end of the year. I told you by the end of the year. We haven't even hit proof of stake for Ethereum. We haven't even hit Vassal for ADA. And when those happen, ADA and Ethereum are going to crush Bitcoin. And that's just the beginning, because more changes, more updates are in the future, and ADA is ahead of the game. That's why I continue to say ADA is going to outperform Ethereum, because ADA improving their scalability right now. That's where Ethereum has to go, and they're not even close to getting there. They're years away from that. Ethereum is just getting to proof of stake. ADA's had that for years. So ADA is ahead of the game, and ADA will crush Bitcoin because ADA is going to beat Ethereum, and Ethereum is going to beat Bitcoin. So if you appreciate the alternative voices here that aren't just, blowing smoke up your ass and telling you we're going to 35,000 and go to my link so I can get a little bit of a kickback off of your hard-earned money. I don't want your hard-earned money. You keep it. Don't trade on leverage. Not financial advice, but don't trade on leverage. You will get hosed in the end. I don't need a little kickback off of your hard-earned money. I will never ask you to go to a link and so I can get a kickback and you can get a bonus and everybody's happy, right? That's not how it works. And I've proven it on this channel. I've told you not to go long and follow these people into a long position when we're at resistance. I told you 2 days ago we're due for another dump, and here we are. Here we are. So if you appreciate that, do me a favor. Please do me a favor. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me some motivation to keep making these videos, because honestly, I've gotten one thing wrong in this channel, and that was like a week or so into me making videos. I'm on my 101st video. I've said one thing that has proven to be wrong, and that's it. And I'm forthcoming. I will be as transparent as possible when I do get things wrong. But frankly, I haven't found anything to tell you, "Oh, I'm sorry I got that wrong," because I've only gotten one thing wrong, and I was open and upfront about it. But that was like 18 weeks ago. So do me a favor, please give me a like, give me a subscribe. So that's all I have for you today, right? I'm still trying to figure out where I think Bitcoin's going. I still think the immediate future is uncertain with this macro environment. We're going to have to see where the Fed ends up next week, whether they're going to raise rates by 75 bips or 1 full percent. If it goes 1 full percent, we might be in a little more hurt on Bitcoin. If somehow they say, "Oh, we're only going to raise it 50 bips," maybe Bitcoin rallies. But we have a game plan. We know when we're going to go into Bitcoin, and it's not for a long time yet. And so I still think, I've been saying this for weeks at this point. The path of least resistance right now is still lower. Now, I don't think it's much lower. So you could do a lot worse right now than dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin and other cryptos. You could do a lot worse than dollar cost averaging, because calling the bottom is never, it's a fool's game. You're never going to be able to call the exact bottom. We might be at the exact bottom right now. We might be at the exact bottom at 15,000, 12,000. I just don't know where it's at. But we're closer to the bottom than we are the top. Let's say that, right? So dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin and whatever crypto you choose is a smart game right now. And I just choose ADA and Ethereum over Bitcoin. And we're proving it. It's working out. So that's it. I hope you're having a great week. I told you we're going to dump. Sorry, I was right again. My name is Mike. I am the Crypto Liberal. Have a great night. Ban the guns.